Hello, good day. This is the Pan-African Preacher. There's a Jamaican proverb that says, one cocoa fills the basket. It was Marcus Mosiah Garvey who captivated the black world in the 1920s when he established the African Redemption Fund. The African Redemption Fund was an investment fund from which black businesses all across the United States, the Caribbean, and South America were started. Garvey used the monies collected from members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, the UNIA, to purchase several ships with the intention of repatriating Africans stolen from Africa and developing trade links between Africa and the diaspora. That vision should not be lost to those who are of the hallmarks of faith and of whom redemption and liberation of African people is important. African Christians and others of different faith or no faith have been sending remittances home to their loved ones. In 2019, remittances became the largest source of capital flow into low and middle income African countries, surpassing even foreign direct investment. In 2022, Africans sent home 53 billion US dollars in remittance, a growth of over 5% on the previous year. African Christians outside of the continent need to become more strategic in how it supports the home, or how they support the home continent. We need to see a massive creation of investment funds that would support businesses and social enterprises in Africa. Some of these funds must also facilitate the wider African diaspora, who may not be interested in migrating to Africa, but who want to see their monies working for Africa and for them. As I preach, teach, lecture, mentor, and coach across Africa, the Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe, I am calling on Africans everywhere to facilitate or to create facilities that allow them to move Africa forward from being aid dependent to being trade savvy. Every black church in the diaspora should be paying a tithe to an African Redemption Fund. The black church has to be more intentional and strategic about Africa. That fund should be geared towards moving African resources into African hands. It should engage in ethical training and in trading, and in particular, financing business startups led by youths and females. These African redemption funds should be held and managed in Pan-African banks, such as the Eco Bank, Zenith Bank, or Kenya Commercial Bank. The black church's concept of missions giving must differ from that of traditional missions. We have to link our mission strategy to the development programs of African nations, or to where there is a shortfall in their development programs. We have to be aware that it is not sufficient just to build a school in Africa. It is not sufficient that we just build schools for our denominational profile, but for the education of local children that needs education most. As we have seen, that the wealth of Africa, if it is to come from under the feet of Africans to their pockets, to their economies, and to their development investment funding, we have to be able to assist in that process. In other words, investment funding is needed for capital ventures. The Black Church needs to look at this in a much more strategic way. African redemption funds must pave the way for the Africa we want. Ashe.